One of the biggest draws of a lot of reality TV, new and old, is the witnessing of other people's suffering. That may be through misfortune of life circumstances, family troubles, interpersonal relationships falling apart. And there's one show that still delights in showing that suffering, but from a different angle, rather than showing the pain and misery of the person that's directly the main focus. Rather, it shows how that person's actions can cause suffering and misery to their immediate friends and family. Of course, I'm talking about Extreme Cheapskates, the show that finds the weirdest of the weird when it comes to penny pinching methods and just trying to save a buck however you can. And like a lot of reality shows, a good portion of this stuff is more than likely hammed up for the camera, but there's still very legitimate stuff in the show that I'm sure there are people out there actually doing, if not the people in the show actually doing it. So let's sit back, relax, and take a look at one of the weirdest examples of not exactly schadenfreude, but something very similar to it. This is Extreme Cheapskates. Before we begin, as always, make sure to like and subscribe. Not too long ago, we passed that 500 subs mark, and we've been very steadily making our way up to the 1,000. So let's see if we can hit that soon. And you might want to subscribe before he consumes all.
Hi, my name is Vicki Smith, and I'm an extreme cheapskate. Here's my husband, John. He's a butcher. We have 10 children. 5 still live at home.
So the center of this episode is Vicki Smith, who lives in Idaho with her husband and younger children.
This is the living room, and it's pretty bare. We don't want to go in debt for furniture, so what you see is what we got.
One thing you see a lot on this show is people have old broken down furniture or completely bare rooms. It's like these people haven't heard of thrift stores. Either that, or I can imagine TLC directors coming in and say, oh god, they've got too much furniture in here, we gotta push it out, we gotta make this place look barren.
All of my children have always worn hand-me-downs, but every little girl wants new clothes.
I don't have any clothes.
There's a dress.
That's horrible looking. It's like for a 4-year-old.
It's so cute.
No, it's not.
There's nothing wrong with hand-me-downs. The issue with something like this is that's probably a dress that Vicki wore when she was a child. One of the biggest issues that you'll always see is the kids of these people are definitely being bullied in school. Either because their parents don't provide them with basic hygiene products or clothes that are actually relatively in fashion.
I know Soraya's 13. She's very self-conscious about making sure she's not different from the rest of the girls.
Okay, this is going to be a question that is potentially very weird. She said she's had 10 kids. I don't know what percentage of those are girls. What does she do when they reach puberty? Because, you know, pads and tampons can run a pretty penny. And if you've got 10 children, say it's 50-50 boys and girls, that's still 5 girls that you have to raise that you have to provide feminine products for. I hate to even imagine how Vicki deals with that, if she even does consider that sort of thing. Editing Noah here. Yeah, I kind of realized when going through this, it doesn't just apply to feminine products, but also, you know, products used to raise a kid in general, baby care products. She's had 10 children. What did she do for diapers?
So can I go shopping with Allie?
Tell you what, why don't I go with you guys, and then we can figure out how much you really need when we get there, okay?
Okay.
I refuse to spend big bucks on clothes. I don't mind taking Soraya and Ellie to the local flea market to look for clothes.
So clearly Vicki knows that flea markets and thrift stores exist. Buy some furniture for your children, please. The thing that pisses me off the most is they put their family, their children, if they have any, or their spouse, through so much borderline neglect just to save a little bit of money. Most of the time, these people aren't poor, they're relatively well off financially. They just don't actually want to spend anything. I can only wait for the day that they die and their kids have access to what they've left for them, and they're like, oh my god, they were sitting on this the whole time? No, we're not gonna pay money for the funeral expenses. We're gonna take this money and go spend it on stuff that we missed out on.
I avoid buying anything new. If I can get it used, I'd much rather pay 75% off or less.
Look at that smirk on her face. Look into those eyes and tell me that she doesn't know exactly what she's doing. That is the eating grin of a woman who knows what she's putting her family through, but she doesn't care because it's all for her self-satisfaction.
I want these shoes.
How much are shoes? Ugh.
This shirt, it's only $2.
$2 is a lot. At a garage sale, it would be like 25 cents.
If you're so upset about the prices, why would you bring your kids here? I would assume that she's been here before, or to another flea market. The prices are going to be about the same wherever you go. The shoes are $2 a pair. That is a steal. Some thrift stores that I've been in recently have shoe pairs that are like $15. I don't know exactly when this episode was filmed. It was uploaded 4 years ago. Take the chance. Buy the shoes for your damn child.
So I want to make sure how much you like it.
I like it a lot.
Well, let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I don't think so. That's too much.
That's 5 or 6 shirts and a pair of shoes for $10. Lady, your poor daughter here just wants some clothes that actually look decent on her.
I feel so good when I save money.
You ready?
I hope so. I kick myself when I could have saved money and I don't.
What is the psychological reason for that? A lot of the time, people that are very, very cheap or cost-cutting tend to have some reason for that. A lot of it boils down to either how they were raised or taught to handle money in early childhood.
When I have to come up with birthday or Christmas presents, we do a lot of homemade.
Vicki can make gloves and her little hats and things, and we can save money by using them for gifts.
Then there's nothing wrong with that. Homemade, handmade gifts are something that a lot of people appreciate, you know? It shows that you were willing to dedicate your time and effort into handcrafting something for a person that you love. The big but is when somebody knows you're making handmade gifts because you just don't want to be bothered to spend the money on them, it kind of loses that affection behind the intention of the gift. Hey honey, here's a pair of gloves that I made. I know you really wanted that new action figure, but I wasn't going to pay $15 for it. Instead, take this because I love you, but you're not worth my money.
I have a project that
hi, camera person.
I have a project that requires real fur, and I was to go out and buy that fur from the store. It's exorbitantly priced. So
Here we go for roadkill. Here we go. Eat meat. Here we go for roadkill. Furs are expensive, but if you can find it along the road, it can be a lot cheaper.
Now, I am probably going to catch a lot of flack for this, but I grew up and still live in an area where it's always been pretty acceptable to take and use roadkill in certain ways. I know that sounds very gross to a lot of people out there. Trust me, I personally, no, I would never do that. But I knew a lot of people growing up in school and adjacent family and friends who would do such a thing. I'm not saying that it's okay that you do this. I'm just saying that I know people do this. The difference between somebody that I knew doing it and Vicki doing this, however, is again, she's doing it just because she does not want to spend the money. Whereas somebody else who does it would do it because, well, you know, that saves me from having to go out and shoot it, so I'll just take this one home instead. It's a time saver more than a money saver.
It's kind of weird to go find animals on the side of the road that probably have bugs in them.
Imagine that being your lower third in your title card. Son of extreme cheapskate. You are the son of an extreme cheapskate. Nothing more, nothing less. This is who you are.
My mission was to find good roadkill on the road. And if it's fresh, and good, I'm a butcher. I have no problem whatsoever eating something that's fresh and good.
It almost sounds like it was the husband's idea to do this. He's like, I have the tools, I have the skills, so if we find something on the road, we'll take it back to the house, I'll clean it up and dress it for you, and you can use what you need, and I'll use what I need.
Well, our last find was off on the side road. What do you see?
What is it?
It's a pretty good one, you guys.
Why did they park so far away from it? You could drive up at least 10 more feet. You have plenty of space. Oh, I know why. Because if they drove that little bit of an extra distance, they'd be wasting gas. And gas is a precious resource that she has to spend money on. So why drive that little bit of a way when we can just use our legs and walk? If you really want to get pedantic, if you used your legs and walked there, you're creating wear on your clothes. You're wearing down the bottom of your shoes, the sleeves of your shirt that are rubbing as you move your arms, your pant legs rubbing together as you walk. That means you would have to buy new clothes sooner than later because you made your entire family walk that extra 15 feet to the dead roadkill rabbit on the side of the road rather than spend maybe 4 or 5 cents in gas to drive that small distance forward. So if you really think about it, Vicki, you might be causing more expenses in your future, rather than saving money on a little bit of gas. But hey,
that's just a theory.
What do you have in here?
There's clover and sage blossoms.
Is this a regular thing for you too, is to pick
other people's yard
weeds?
trimmings?
They were our yard trimming.
It was weeds, all weeds, dandelions, flowers, clovers.
I don't know what's worse. The children's status being diminished to the children of an extreme cheapskate, or a grown adult being labeled as the neighbor of an extreme cheapskate. For all we know, Tammy has spent the past 15 years of her life earning a PhD in the most advanced subject you can think of, only for when she makes her first television appearance to simply have her life boiled down to being the neighbor of Vicki. And folks, that is going to be it for this video. As always, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you want me to look at more Extreme Cheapskates episodes or any other videos, channels, TV shows that you want me to cover. As always, thanks y'all for supporting and sticking around, and hope to see y'all in the next one. See ya.